jump.
So guys, today I want to show you this alternative method for the 3x3 I was talking to you about, and it only uses 2 algorithms total. It's absolutely mind-blowing. I'll show you this right now. So guys, before I start, I just want to let you know I don't think this is the easiest method, but it is the one with the least memorization. So if you don't have a good memory, it's actually really good because there's only 2 algorithms total. Now, let me give you some context. I actually discovered this method through R-Line from the Twisty Puzzles forum, which some of you also know as Twisty Puzzling. He had a YouTube channel with about 15,000 subscribers. Actually the method was invented by Philipp Marshall a long time ago, and I think it's brilliant, which is why I wanted to show you guys this method. So there's only 2 algorithms you need to know. The first one switches 3 edges together, like this. That's it. That just moved 3 edges counterclockwise. You can do it also, clockwise. You can also do it counterclockwise by doing the opposite, like this. So either you start with this and it's clockwise, either you start with this and it's counterclockwise. The second algorithm changes the orientation and the position of these 3 corners. So if I do this, the corners are going to be positioned, or at least their position is going to change clockwise, and the orientation is going to change counterclockwise. Here, if I do it, if I mirror the algorithm, I do the same by starting here instead of here. So mirrored according to this plane right here. Well, it's going to switch the pieces, change their position in a counterclockwise fashion around the cube, but it's going to change their orientation clockwise, like this. Alright, now that you know the 2 algorithms, so this one, and this one, and this one, we're ready to start. So let's see. I'm going to scramble this. Alright, just for info, I'm not really a speed cuber. I use the beginner's method, but I do know a few finger tricks, so yeah. Now, let's start by solving the cross. So for example, I've got this white-green edge here. I want to pair it up with the green center. Now this one's already solved. Notice how I can bring the white-orange edge up to the top face like that. Except I want it to go in this slot right here. This is the word I'm going to use. I'm going to use white-orange edge and white-orange slot to basically express what I mean when I say this piece needs to go here. The white-orange slot is where the orange piece, the white-orange edge, has to go. The slot is right here. This is where the white-orange edge should go. And I can bring it up here. So I'm going to bring the slot here so that the white-orange edge can be put right there, and then bring it back all the way here so that these 2 are still solved, but the white-orange piece is still here, is in the right position, sorry. Same goes for the white-blue piece. I want to bring it up here, but the slot is right here. I'm going to turn it here, bring the white-blue piece on the top face, and bring it back in order to solve the 4 edges. Now, I'm going to solve the second layer. I've put the white face on the bottom so I can visualize more clearly. Now, I want to bring this here, so I'm going to do a clockwise algorithm. This is solved. Same for the red-green piece, but I'm going to do a counterclockwise algorithm. Now this is solved, this is not solved. I've got the blue-orange piece, clockwise algorithm, and the second layer is solved. Now all that's left is to position the third layer. Now I want to have the blue piece right here, so I'm going to do a counterclockwise algorithm. Notice how I messed up the red-blue right here, that's normal because these two are now in the right position. So if I bring these two pieces here, I just need to bring this one here, this one there, and that one here. So I just need to make one small algorithm. So let's see. I want to bring this up here, so I'm going to do a counterclockwise algorithm. Okay, notice how only, okay, no, 3 pieces are in the wrong position. Oh, I actually messed up my algorithm. I needed to turn it the other way. So this needs to go here, this needs to go there, and that needs to go here. So just like before, I could solve it like this. Except notice how these 2 pieces, they're in the right position but in the wrong orientation. Now let's see, I'm going to scramble them again. And I want this to go here, that's correct, but I want that one to go here in the right orientation, which means I would need to bring it like that, in the right position and orientation. Now let's see, if I do this, you'll notice that the red pairs up with the red, so I think I can solve it more easily like that, because here I can switch these 3 pieces. Now notice how the algorithm that I applied, let's leave them out of this out of the picture for now. I can apply it either to these 3 pieces, for example, like that, or if I change the algorithm a little bit, it's the same algorithm, but just instead of doing, for example, r prime f, r, f prime, I'm gonna do r prime f prime r f. And what that does is I'm gonna basically do the permutation of these 3 parts. Oh, and sorry, instead of doing the permutation of these 3 parts, I'm gonna do the permutation of these 3 parts here. For example, this, 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 and that. As you can see, this piece, and this piece are now switched. Now this is the same algorithm, but slightly changed to adapt to our situation. Now I'm gonna move these pieces here, so that I can do the algorithm here. Notice how if I had done it in this place, the orientation would be incorrect. Now if I just move this face right here and apply the algorithm for these 3 pieces, like this, these 3 pieces are correctly solved and oriented. So basically, if you notice that this algorithm doesn't fix the orientation, try to look for a pattern. For example, here you can put the red here is already paired up, and here you can pair up this piece as well, which means that doing the algorithm here is probably best, because you just need to do this and it's solved. Now let's see if I can show you another situation which is similar. So here, these 2 are in the wrong orientation. Here I notice there's a pattern. As you can see, it's not the red piece anymore, it's the green one. I bring this here and apply the algorithm here. As you can see, what I did was u prime, r, u, r prime. Same 4-move algorithm as always. Now this is to solve the edges. Now we're going to solve the corners. Let's see. This corner needs to go here, and notice that if I put it in this position and do the algorithm to switch these corners clockwise, this one is going to be turned counterclockwise, which means it's going to go in that position, and the white is going to be paired up with the white. So I'm going to do this right now. This is correct. Let's see, let me show you with another one. Let's take this one out of the picture. So it's in the wrong orientation, so I just need to move it out. I'm going to switch these 3 counterclockwise. Same algorithm as always. Notice how this piece is oriented in the wrong direction. That means if I try to do the algorithm like this, it's going to pair up the green with the white. If I do it in this direction, it's going to pair up the orange with the white, which means it's really in the worst orientation possible. So I'm going to go to the yellow face, so I'm going to leave the white face out of this and do the algorithm randomly on the yellow face. Now you'll notice that my white part is not on the bottom, which means if I do the algorithm by turning these pieces clockwise, this one will be paired up white with white. So notice how this one is already solved. So if I do it here, it's going to screw up this one, and I don't want that. So I'm not going to do this. Instead of doing these three clockwise, I'm going to do these three here because I don't want to screw up this corner here. So I'm going to do the same algorithm as always, and it's solved. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. As you can see, the white is facing downwards, so that is the worst orientation possible. I'm changing the orientation by doing the algorithm on the bottom face, and now I can bring it up on the top face. So I'm going to switch these three pieces clockwise and the orientation of that piece counterclockwise. So instead of having the white here, it's going to be here. Right there. Now the top is solved. Now all I need is to solve the bottom now. You'll notice how all the pieces are in the wrong position and some are in the right orientation. So I'm just going to do the algorithm randomly. Let's see, this one's in the right position and these ones are in the wrong position and orientation. So as you can see, there's nothing that's correct here. Even if I try to do the algorithm many times, it's not going to work because they're always in the wrong position and orientation. Now, let me explain how to change the method. Well, not really change the method, but just how to apply it so that you don't get this problem. Now, notice how, for example, this piece, you see, it needs to go here. So if I do a clockwise turn like that, this one is going to have green facing up. So instead, I want yellow facing up, which means that I would need this to be turned counterclockwise. So basically, it's as if I wanted the slot to be turned clockwise so that later this piece, when we turn the slot back, would be turned counterclockwise. So basically, since the yellow is actually going to replace the red, I actually want, the yellow needs to be here. Sorry, the yellow needs to be here, and the current position is the yellow here. So the yellow needs to replace the yellow. And as you can see, it moves here. So I want this yellow part to be on this side. Now, to do so, I'm just gonna, for example, bring it all the way down, move the bottom face and bring it back up so that the yellow part is on that side. And when I move this here, the yellow part is going to replace the yellow part. Let's see if that works. Notice how, if I do the same moves as I did earlier, backwards, this green, yellow, orange part is solved. Now, I was maybe not very clear, so I'm going to try to show you that again. As you can see, here all the corners are solved in the right position, and they're in the wrong orientation. Now, I want at least 3 corners to be in the wrong position and orientation. So I'm going to do the algorithm. As you can see, I've saved that one. This one is correct. And I'm going to do the method, apply the method here. So here, for example, this corner is going to move to this place. So yellow, is going to be paired up with yellow. And here, orange should not be paired up with yellow. Instead, I basically want it to be turned counterclockwise later on, which means that the slot, or this piece, needs to be turned clockwise. So to do this, I need the red part to be on top. That way, you see here, when I do this, this is going to be, when I do the algorithm, this is going to be in that orientation, which means here is where the orange will go. Now, if I manage to get the red part here, and then do the algorithm, the orange is going to be on top, and then I undo what I did to bring the red part here, and the orange is going to go back to the orange position here. So let's see. I want this red part to be on top. If I do this and bring it all the way here, you'll notice the red part is on top. Now I can apply the algorithm to these three corners and then undo what I did earlier. And guess what? The whole puzzle is solved. Now that was a manual mistake. I may have forgotten to do this earlier. Let me just try to undo what I did so that I can show you this without any manual mistakes in it. Sorry about that. Let's do this again. Here, I have this piece that needs to go in this position here. And this piece, let's see, it will go into that position. So that means that basically when I finish the algorithm, this red part here is going to end up on top. And I want it to be here, which means I should have the blue slot on top. That way the red is going to be replacing the blue part, and then I can undo what I did, and the red is going to take position in the red face, on the red face. So this should become red. And since when I'm going to do the algorithm, the red part of this piece is going to end up on top, well, I need blue to be on top. So I'm going to bring it down here, turn here, and bring it all the way here so that it's on top. And now I'm going to apply the algorithm. As you can see, red is on top, just like I predicted. And I undo what I did, and it's solved. So yeah, this is actually a really brilliant method, I think. You only need 2 algorithms for the whole thing. The rest is pure logic. So it's kind of hard sometimes because, as you can see, there's a lot of setup moves. Earlier I did this just to set up the movement for later. Let's see. So for example here, I had to actually do this setup here. Then do the algorithm. Then undo the setup. And so that can be a lot of moves and it can be confusing. So you need to have this logic really stuck in your mind. You need to have a great mind of logic. So that's kind of hard. It's probably not the best method for beginners, but I think it's a brilliant method for those who don't have a good memory. So that's really, really amazing. So let me know what you think about this method in the comments below. I personally think it's brilliant, and I'd love to get your advice on that. So yeah, I'll probably show you how I personally solve the Rubik's Cube in a future video, but for now, this is all I got for this weekend, and next weekend I will probably be able to show you some new 3D prints, so yeah. Alright guys, I hope you like this method. I think it's mind-blowing and it's really brilliant, so kudos to Philipp Marshall for inventing it, and thanks to Twisty Puzzling for showing me this method. So yeah, if you did like this video, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it on whatever social media you got, and I'll see you next week.